That Sharrieff brings us to sort of this, why are we here, A2B Tracking, talking about this and the capabilities of asset management and automation? And I'll let you share.
Okay, definitely, Pete. And I guess we can tell you and discuss different, how to fix some of these problems and how to adhere to them. But we would be negligent if we didn't tell you how there was an easy way through UC Web to be able to tackle some of these issues and become more, audit ready from a platform that's been around for the last 20 years. So with UC Web, it's a platform that is a cloud platform that allows you to have access to your data, your information from anywhere with an internet connection, whether it's on a laptop. We've got some of our mobile devices to go out and do scanning from a tracking perspective, but it's a mobile-ready platform that allows you to manage your property through tracking capabilities that not only that are adherence to the MIL standard 130, but also what we're seeing the future is RFID tracking in different flavors, whether that's a mobile, whether that's fixed reading. You've got a platform that is pointed to take advantage of all of the future technologies that are coming down that make it more easier for a property manager to handle all their compliance, but also track their assets and know where their assets are in real time. We all know assets move, and when they move, that could be a problem, because if we just did an inventory last quarter and it moved, and let's say we've got an audit coming up, then that gives us we got a vulnerability there. So being able to have full asset traceability and visibility and management from a compliance standpoint, as well as just knowing where that asset is a key component. But then again, it also has the reporting into government systems from an automated perspective. So we're not talking about building templates or spreadsheets. So if you need to do reporting on PCARs, where you're retiring an asset, or if you've got a life cycle change, you're simply just submitting that in through UC Web, opposed to taking a spreadsheet and then building that and send it into government systems. In addition, what I'll also mention is that, we talked about the asset identification, both RFID and IUID in combination, and being able to use the best of both breeds of technology from an AIT perspective, but also integration into ERP systems as well. So it's not just A2B Tracking or UC Web handles the your IUID and property management transactions, but also allows that to flow back into your ERP or your system of record that allows you to now have a full understanding of kind of what's going on within the business. Pete, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, actually, I would just add, one is that, I reflect on customers that have come to us that have said, look, we're dealing with a level 3 car and a corrective action, and we've got to make sure that we go from this sort of antiquated spreadsheet process to something that can handle the data, that we can easily process, show auditors, know that we have the control that we need. And one of our greatest sense of successes is when we can do that for property managers, as we've done, and help them get out of this level 3, level 2 car, whatever the case may be. But auditors look at this system, UC Web, and they know that it's comprehensive and that it's going to take care of the property managers that are responsible for their equipment, and that makes the auditor even infinitely more easy to handle and support when they come in. But we also get a question of asking us, what are the real differentiators with A2B and other systems in the market? And there are really 3 main differentiators. One is the completeness of our compliance and how we handle both the audit side and all these MIL standard labels, plates, whatever need to be generated. It handles all of that with a tremendous amount of automation and time savings. and handles all that compliance. The second is how much we are able to leverage auto ID technology. Sharrieff, you pointed it out, barcode and RFID, to really save a huge amount of time for you in doing your job using mobility and barcode and RFID tracking to really track and know where your items are. And then the third is integration to government systems. So when you can press a button and have all your data flow into PCARs to take care of that transaction, or the same with wide area workflow or other government systems, now you really have some time savings on your hands as well. So
Right.
all of those things mix into really what makes A2B different as a very modern provider of this kind of asset management system that's really tailored very specifically to this government world.
Right. And the other thing I would mention is the ability to bring your inventory accuracy up from industry range is usually around, I want to say 65, 75%, but bringing it up to 99%. And in that case, you're really protecting yourself against the DCMA audit, because if you know that your inventory is accurate, and you know where all your stuff is, then that just takes half the stress out of being audited. And I'd also want to mention that this system has a lot of built-in compliance, but it's also on the DoD side, but it's also from a compliance. It's also compliant ready for anyone who has a SOX requirement on the corporate side, as well as we talked about some of the universities driving or on this call as well. Being able to manage with RFID, coming out of that barcode world, being able to use fixed readers and other scanning devices to understand when assets move, you've got a beat on it and you know exactly where they are. We've got one federal agency that we're working with that doesn't have a DoD requirement, and they're using fixed reader infrastructure through their environment to understand when some of their IT assets leave their facility and then come back to their facility, but they always have a beat on all of the assets. And they, from a visibility standpoint, they're very satisfied, because before they didn't have a sense of where their assets were and how they were moving throughout the facility, but now they do. And I know everyone has different compliance needs, but I can tell you that this platform can just about meet any compliance need from a federal, state, local, or corporate requirement.